on in Facebook, come in. Later Rochelle with Warriors Talk. We're getting ready to get started in less than 30 seconds. So come on in, you guys. When you come in, like, share the video, invite others in on the video so they can get this information. And I want you all to join in on the conversation as well. Here we go. Hello, you guys. Come on in. This is Lady Rochelle with Warriors Talk. We're going to be talking about victorious and not a victim. So like, share the video, invite others in on the video. Presents Warriors, Warriors. Hey Tracy, hey Shannon, hey Henry, thank you for tuning in. Host Lady Rochelle. Hey Nicole. Warriors Talk is a platform to address how cancer, as well as other diseases, are running rampant throughout our country, and how we can move away from awareness to taking action. Okay, you guys can start with empower listeners by keeping listening to the intro right now. So if you're just tuning in, hey, we're going to be talking about victorious, not a victim. So stay tuned because I want you guys to play an active role today and share your stories with me. So don't go anywhere. Hi, Henry. Thank you for tuning in. Hello. This is Lady Rochelle Warriors Talk here on UBM Radio, your station for faith, talk, and music. As always, I'm so excited you have chosen to tune in today. It is Motivational Monday. Our topic for today is victorious, not a victim. Today's show is actually being sponsored by Sisters Working It Out. Sisters Working It Out is actually a health advocacy in motion. They are empowering women to become a part of their health education program as they go out in the community to educate individuals on cancer. You can go to sistersworkingitout.org to find out how you can be a part of that organization. Now, I want you to stay connected with me on all forms of social media. I am on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, as well as Facebook. All you got to do is type in @WarriorsTalk1. You can also email me, show ideas, or if you have an idea for someone who wants to be a guest and share their journey, you can email me at warriorstalk.com. You can also go to the website for more information at warriorstalk.org. If you ever miss a live video of the show and you wanted to hear audio of the show, if you're at work or in your car, you can always go to Spreaker.com and just type in Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel on YouTube. All you have to do is type in Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The next person that subscribes to the YouTube channel will get a Warriors Talk shirt that's valued at $20, just like what I have on right now. So that will be the next person that subscribes. What I'll do is I'll send you an email and you can send me your information so that I can mail you out your t-shirt. Now, we would love to hear from you. You can always call in at 312-754-4333. We value your opinion. This show is actually dedicated to colorectal cancer. This is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. For those who are suffering with that, we want to make sure that you keep them in your prayers because we know it is not an easy fight, but it's one that can be won. Our healing verse is coming from 1 Corinthians 15:57. But thanks be to God, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Again, our topic today is victorious, not a victim. Hello, Donna. How you doing? And when you think about a victim and you think about being victorious, you know, certain words come to mind. So when you think about somebody who's a victim, you think about somebody who's helpless, somebody who's powerless, useless, somebody who has been harmed or injured, somebody who, some people may call them a sucker. Somebody who's been tricked. When you think about somebody who's victorious, you think about somebody who's a champion, somebody who's winning, somebody who's on top, somebody who's successful, somebody who's number one, who's first in their class. So when you think about the two, they're totally different. But you can move from a victim to being victorious. And my question is, how do you do that? How do you move from being a victim to being victorious? The definition of a victim, it says someone who has been attacked, injured, robbed, killed by someone, a person who is cheated, fooled by someone, or harmed, or who experienced an unpleasant illness or an accident. Again, when you think of somebody who's victorious, according to the dictionary definition, it says someone who has conquered a battle, a contest, or someone who has overcome the enemy. So my question to you, Facebook, because I want you to be an active part of the show today, is being a victim or being victorious, is it a choice? And I would say it depends on the situation. Some situations, you don't have a choice at being a victim. Some situations, I would say, some people, if you have been raped or molested, those are things that you don't have a choice. Somebody took advantage of you. And so you don't have a choice about being a victim or not. But you don't have to stay stuck in that victim mode. Being someone who was diagnosed with cancer, some people would say, "Oh, I was a victim of a cancer diagnosis." I really don't look at it as being a victim, having a cancer diagnosis, but I look at it as having an opportunity to make a change in your life for the better, because I do believe that God allows certain situations to come into your life to improve your life or to bring you closer to Him. And so some people may look at it as a victim. Last week, the guest that we had on the show, before she decided to do anything about her cancer diagnosis, she actually took on the victim mentality, and she started drinking, she started smoking. She decided that she wasn't going to do treatment, and she's just like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die anyway. So why do I have to take this medicine? Why do I have to go through all of that? And she took on the victim's mentality for a while. And then after a while, I believe her support system around her, and it's important to have people around you that love you, that's going to call you out on your stuff. Because a lot of times we have people that baby us, and we have yes people in our lives that don't confront us or don't pull our coattails and tell us when we're doing something wrong. So I believe she had people around her, and she bragged about her support system, how they encouraged her and they pushed her, and they stayed with her and held her. They held her accountable for what she was doing and what she wasn't doing. And sometimes we need people like that when we're in that victim, trying to move to the victorious role. So, Facebook, the question is for you: have you had a situation in your life to where you felt like you were a victim and you had no control over you being a victim? And we know that victim, like I said, could be a choice, and it cannot be a choice. So when you're in a situation to where you are a victim, what you need to do is to look at yourself, take a step back, look at yourself, and figure out why you're the victim. And we're not talking about victims in all cases. In cases where you can control being the victim. You can control if somebody has hurt you. You have control over if you're going to forgive that person or not. And a lot of times we like to stay stuck in that mode because we like to hold grudges. And a person that's a victim, they hold grudges. They don't like to forgive. They constantly looking at the negative side of things versus looking at the positive side of things. So if you're in a situation to where you are a victim, where you can control it, the first thing you can do is just take a step back. Look at your part in the situation. What role did I play that allowed me to become a victim? And then once you assess the situation and you recognize your flaws, your defects, whatever they are, and we have to realize that we do play a role. We play a role in being victimized. But you have the power to take the power away from the person who is victimizing you. So it's all about, again, taking action, which is what we always talk about here on Warriors Talk. Take action and don't allow that person to have that power over your life. So what you can do is take inventory of yourself. What role did you play to get there? And start removing those barriers to get you to live a victorious life. Removing people, negative people, those people that cause that situation to happen in your life. Remove yourself from those people. Start surrounding yourself with people who love you, people who talk positive things in your life constantly, people who are holding you accountable. A lot of times we don't like to be held accountable for things that we're doing. We like to have yes people around us so they won't call us out on stuff. And when they call us out on stuff, we get mad. And all of a sudden we don't want to be around them anymore, or they're not being supportive. So we have to get out of the mindset of being a victim. I always relate everything back to my cancer journey. Like I said, I don't believe that I was a victim. I believe that God allowed that situation to happen so that He can bring me to a point in my life to where He can use me and not the devil. Because a lot of time we're being used, and part of being a victim is being useless. So I believe that He brought me to a point in my life to where I can take a seat back and I can realize what was going on in my life, and that everything I was doing was not bringing glory to Him. And me not having, if I didn't go through that situation, my cancer journey, if I didn't go through that situation, then I couldn't be on the other side of being victorious. I couldn't sit here and share my journey and tell those who are going through their journey that you can make it, you can be victorious, that cancer is not a death sentence. And in any situation that you go through, it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be a divorce, it could be somebody bullying you, it could be being skipped over for a promotion on your job, it could be anything that will cause you to feel self-doubt and cause you to feel like somebody is taking advantage of you. But you can take that situation and you can turn it around, and you can put the power in your hand and figure out what steps you need to do, that you need to take, so that you won't be a victim. And so people won't look at you like you're a victim. Sometimes we have that victim mentality, and people can smell fear. And God, He has not given us a spirit of fear. He has not. And so that spirit of fear comes from the devil. So if you have it, it's not of God. So I ask that you pray and you ask God to help you to remove that, and ask Him to help you to walk a fearless life. And you can do it if you're trusting in Him. And I'm not going to say that there are not going to be situations that you're not going to fear. We have those situations. We're human, and God, He expects that, but He also expects us to depend on Him and cast our cares on Him. So if you find yourself in the victim role, find out what it is that you yourself did to put yourself in a situation, or what did you do to cause the people around you to think that they could take advantage of you like that. So Facebook, I want you to chime in. I just don't want you to watch me, but I want you to chime in because I value your opinion. And if you are just tuned in, hello Lynette, hey Percy, hey Daphne, if you're just tuned in, I want you to like the video, share the video, invite others in. If you have already done that, then thank you, I appreciate that. We are talking about victorious and not a victim. And Lynette, I know you can attest to being a victim. When you shared your testimony, I talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. Some people feel like when they get an illness, or something happens to them, they do feel like a victim. They feel like maybe God has forgotten about them, and they have the why me, why am I going through this? They have the self-pity, and you go through the self-pity could lead into depression. It can lead into low self-esteem. It can lead into down a lot of different roads where you don't want to go, because it can be hard to get out of. So you have to make up in your mind, am I going to be a victim, or am I going to be victorious? And then once you make up in your mind, because to me, it's a choice for some people. Like I said, if somebody has taken advantage of you as far as you being raped, or you being molested, or you are a victim of a crime, some of those things are just totally out of your control, and you don't have a choice at being a victim. But once those things happen to you, you don't have to stay there. You can remove yourself out of that victim mindset, and you can take your life back, and you can do things to empower yourself and empower others, so that they won't have to go through the same thing you went through. And so I'm encouraging Facebook. Yes, Lynette, exactly. I'm encouraging Facebook, to share with me some situations where you have went through in your life where you was the victim, and you chose yourself. You made a conscious decision to be victorious. And we know that Ty Tribbett and Donnie McClurkin has a song called We Are Victorious. And when you listen to that song gives you so much energy. It's so positive. And that's the thing about people who are victorious. They surround themselves with positive people. They're doing positive things. They plan. They make choices. They don't just sit and waddle and have pity. Some people like playing the victim. And if you ever notice when you're around somebody and they always play the victim role, and when you're around them, and then some people always have a look on their face when they see you coming away, they're like, because people who play the victim, they drain people who are victorious. You drain them. And so people, when you're a victorious person, when you have a positive attitude, you tend to get away from those people. You don't want to stay there, because you don't want them to take away the mindset that you have. Being a victim is a mindset. And so some of the ways that you can bring yourself out of that is to make a choice. Make a choice that I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm not going to allow that person or situation to have power over me. So some of the traits that successful people have who decide that I'm not going to be a victim is they decided that they're going to be confident. They're going to inspire people. People who are victims, they don't do that. They waddle in self-pity. So you have to remove that from your life. It says there is another reason why successful people don't become victims. It's because they take responsibility for things that are happening around them. When things go wrong, they take action. Victims complain. They don't really point out the things that they can do or the things that they did to get them in that situation. So you have to make sure that you're taking responsibility for what happened, or change the situation around, turn it around. Successful people, victorious people, look at the situation and say, okay, how can I make this work for me? Okay, I had an accident today. My car is totaled. What am I going to do? And either you're going to go home and you're going to cry, you're going to be depressed, or you're going to go get your rental car, file your claim, and figure out what you're going to do from there. Trust me, I've been there. And you have to make up your mind. It's a mindset. What do you want to do to not be a victim? It says you have to get rid of the negative attitude. Victims don't expect anything to ever go right. They always feel like things are upside down. They always feel like they are a victim. So successful people are able to read positive signs into what's happening in their life. They don't sit around and wait for things to happen. They make things happen. Victims sit around in a bleak situation and they point out all the bad points. And then they wonder why people stop answering their phone calls. People stop coming around them, and they find themselves in a lonely situation, which is not a place that you want to be. And so being victorious and not a victim is something that is a state of mind. So what can you do to stop becoming a victim? Number one, it's a choice. Number two, take your power back from whatever person or situation that's causing you to feel like a victim. Three, put defense mechanisms in place so that whenever you feel like you're being taken advantage of, whenever you feel like a situation is causing you to compromise your morals or compromise your natural instinct that's innate in you, that's telling you this does not feel right, go with that. The spirit of discernment. Ask God for the spirit of discernment so that when something is happening to you that's within your control, that will cause you to be a victim, that you will react. And some people may look at you like, she's mean, or she has an attitude. No, I'm just protecting myself from people and situations that can cause you to lose your mind. People, victims, they can go into a dark, deep place to where they can lose their mind. They stop communicating with people. They stop opening up and telling people how they feel. Suicide. People commit suicide because of bullying. Bullying, you're a victim. That's something that's out of your control. You don't have control over somebody else's actions. We don't have control over somebody else's actions, but you do have control over your actions, and you do have control whether you're going to allow somebody to make you feel like a victim or you're going to choose to be victorious. So how important is it for you to have friends and family around you as you go through a process to where you feel like you are a victim? If you're a person that's victorious and you're around somebody that feels like a victim, it is your responsibility, if you're their loved one, if you're their friend, to make them feel empowered, to make them feel like a winner, to make them feel like their self-worth means something. It's not for you to look down on them, turn your nose up on them, but hey, I got myself together. I don't care if they have themselves together. No, that's not what you should do. If these are people that's around you, that's within your circle, then it's your responsibility to make them feel and to pull them up out of their dark moment, because we all have them. Keep living. We all have them. We all know what it feels like, some people, to be divorced. We all know what it feels like to lose the death of a loved one, or we know what it feels like to have someone in your family to be sick. Everybody knows somebody, just about somebody who's been molested or a victim of a crime. We all know somebody. Keep living, and I guarantee you will. And so if we can help people to be there for us, then we need to be there for someone to help them feel like they're not a victim. So we have to find ways to help them to release the shame and to help them to release the pain, because a lot of times they hold all of it in, they hold all of it back. And then once they do that, sometimes you lose people, you lose them forever, because we're busy and not wrapped up in our own little world, not caring about what's going on around us. And so we have to help people to not be a victim, but to be victorious by helping them, speaking positive things into their life. For me, I post a lot of positive stuff on Facebook, and I know people like, they get tired of me posting stuff, but it's just the little things. You never know, a scripture you may post or affirmation you may post. You never know what somebody is going through that day, that you can help somebody get through a bleak moment in life. So it's always nice to just sometimes remove yourself from the situation and think about somebody else. Think about somebody else. So there are 6 dangerous ways that people fall into a self-pity trap. It says, feeling sorry for yourself when you are not alone. Everybody goes through a rough period in life. It could be, like I said, divorce, losing your job, or being passed over for a promotion. The list goes on and on. We all know of some difficult situations. But it says it's difficult to feel positive, upbeat when you're going through these situations. It's not easy. Some people feel stuck. So negative thinking, people get trapped into negative thinking. They go into that dark dwelling place. If you stay there too long, then it can have an adverse effect on your life. So what do you do to bring yourself out of self-pity? It says it's taking a closer look at 6 dangerous self-pities that people go through in life. You have the victim's mentality. We all know somebody that goes through the victim mentality. It's woe is me, they always against me. It says self-pity encourages you to take on the victim's mentality. So no matter what goes on in your life, nothing goes right for you. Everybody is against you. You're always a victim in every circumstances that you go through. The problem is that you give your power away to those circumstances. So the way to reverse that is to take your power away from those victim mentality. So hey, you guys for tuning in. Hey Carol, hey Rana. Thank you guys for tuning in on Facebook. We're talking about being victorious and not a victim. And I know you all have situations where you have came across people in situations in your life where you felt like a victim, and you felt like you was depressed, and you felt alone, you felt in a dark place where you didn't feel like you were going to be able to pull yourself up. And somehow you actually found a way to be victorious. So Facebook, share with me some of the ways or situations that you felt like a victim, but you were able to turn the situation around. Hey Carol, and turn your situation around to where you were victorious. And Carol, I know you can identify with that as far as being a victim and turning it around to be victorious. And I do believe, again, it is a choice to be victorious. It's a choice, it's a mindset, and it's not something that's it's easily done. It's something that you have to consciously do daily, because we have daily things happening to us that we could just easily break down and say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, and you can commit suicide, you can withdraw yourself, but we can't do that because we work, we have kids, and we have a life to live, so we have to be able to be functioning. So one of the signs, it says 6 dangerous signs of self-pity, a trap that you fall into, the victim's mentality. Number 2 is depression. And a lot of us have probably had periods and times in our life where we have been depressed. The key is don't stay there. And a lot of times in the African American community, when we are depressed or we feel in some way mentally, we don't like to get help. Melissa said, yes, it is a choice. Yes, it's a choice. And a lot of times, Melissa, we don't like to get help. We always say pray. We always say go to church, read scriptures. But it's something more that you can do when it's going on mentally. You have to get help, people. We have to set our pride to the side and not care what people are going to think, not care that they're going to label us as crazy or whatever. But you have to get some help, especially if you have loved ones and kids around you who are counting on you. Getting help is not being weak, because a lot of times people look at you when you go give help for some type of depression, or just to really get your mind back on track. Even going through like a cancer diagnosis, when you are going through all of the treatment and just the shock of having a life altering diagnosis that you know has the potential to wipe you out, and that you have seen wipe other people out, can really play on your psyche. It can really play on your psyche. Just going through watching my father passed away in 2016, just watching him pass away from cancer. And knowing that I survived it, it can have you feeling some type of way. And so you have to make sure that your mind is in a good place. If your mind is not in a good place, it can send you out into a spiral and you can never come back. And so just watching your loved ones and how their body changes from a healthy state to almost like a baby, like an infant state, just to see that process happen. And it happens so fast. Melissa says, I used to be suicidal and depressed. I got tired and nearly existed. Oh, wow. I wanted to live. Thank God for giving me the strength to fight. See, and a lot of people go through that, but a lot of people won't admit it. A lot of people suffer in silence. Let me tell you, a lot of people suffer in silence when it comes to mental problems because they don't want the label put on them. They don't want people looking at them like they're crazy. So they tend to suffer in silence. And it takes a mindset for you changing your mind to say, you know what? Like Melissa said, I'm tired. I'm tired of just living day to day and not making a difference and not doing anything. So she chose to be victorious. And God gave her the strength to do that. So I commend you for making that choice. And you have to do it daily. It's a daily choice that you have to make to say, you know what? Even with a cancer diagnosis, even though I'm getting divorced, even though I'm in foreclosure in my house, you know, I'm making a daily choice to be victorious because I'm going through this bad time in my life. That I don't have to be a victim to it, but I can find ways to pull myself up out of this, and it's not going to happen overnight. So you got to have patience, and as long as you're working towards what you want to do, and you're making a conscious effort to say, you know what, I would no longer be a victim. You would no longer take advantage of me. Situation, you are going to change, and you could still pray, you could still read your scriptures, but you have to take action. And the responsibility is yours. So what we're going to do, we're going to listen to Donnie McClurkin and Ty Tribbett, and We Are Victorious. We are victorious. Yes. Hey, you guys. So we are victorious. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. I appreciate it. Carol says your mind is a mental manual for your body. You have to fight mentally and everything before you can put it in a physical fight. Oh my goodness. Girl, I like that. That is so true. You do. You really do. I need to read that when we get back on air. Lynette says, yes, it definitely will take a toll on your mind and your body. You have to make a choice to trust God and live. It definitely takes patience. It really does. It really takes patience, you guys. Just going through when you go through your cancer battle or any type of disease, any type of life altering disease that you go through, you do go through in your mind physically, mentally first, and you like, how am I gonna fight this? How am I gonna get through this? And you have to see yourself. You have to see yourself on the other side of your sickness. You have to see yourself healed. You have to see yourself fighting in the natural, fighting in the spirit, fighting mentally. You have to see it. Because if you can't see it, it's not gonna come to pass. If you can't mentally see it, how's it gonna come to pass physically? You can't see yourself doing it mentally, it's not gonna come to pass. You have to be able to see yourself, and I totally agree with that. That I'm gonna have to say that when we go back on air. She goes, what station are you airing on? We are on urbanbroadcastmedia.com. It's an internet station, Melissa. So, I mean, if you wasn't doing Facebook Live, some people will go to urbanbroadcastmedia.com and they're able to listen that way. Or I also do a Facebook Live. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're on commercial break right now, but we're on commercial break. So the people that are listening via the internet are listening to Ty Tribbett and Donnie McClurkin, We Are Victorious. And so I picked that song because sometimes you have to fuel yourself with positive things around you so that you can turn your situation around. A lot of it has to do with your mental mind, let me tell you. A lot of it has to do with your mental mind. And I can't tell you enough about having the right people around you to put you in that mindset. I know we all have heard this saying about the 5 people that are in your circle. The closest 5 people to you will tell you what type of track you on to success. So if you got people around you that's not working, they're not ambitious, they never follow through on anything, then you can pretty much know that you probably not gonna go anywhere because you take on that mindset. You take on that same mindset. Hearing, is this a what? Is this a call-in show? Yes, I want you guys to call in. If you have a situation, please call in because I'm flying solo today. If you guys want to call in and you want to share a situation to where you moved from victim to victorious, please call in because I don't want to talk the whole hour by myself. So I would appreciate if you would call in. Let me get the number for you guys to call in. I encourage you to call in and share a situation so that the rest of Facebook, not only Facebook, but the UrbanBroadcastMedia.com. Okay, so if I need somebody to call in, what number are they gonna call into?
Call into my phone number.
Okay.
312
312
719
719
2095.
So if you want to call in, you will call in at 312 719 2095. Today, today only because our phone lines are down, so I'm using my producer's number. 312 719 2095. You can call in and you can share how you moved from victim to victorious, and I would love to hear from it. So Melissa, the show is called Warriors Talk, and we talk about how to move away from awareness towards taking action. And even in this situation right here, you're able to do that. Thank you for sharing the show, Lynette. I really appreciate you sharing the show. So if you want to call in, you can do that. You can do that now because we're getting ready to come back again. 312 719 2095. And I would love to hear how you move from. Thank you for doing that. Who did that? Did you do that? Thank you, Melissa, for putting that up there. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're getting ready to come back, and when we come back, I'm hoping that one of y'all be on the phone line so y'all can share with us. I always use my is it a call in there? I always use okay. I always use my my cancer journey because I believe when it first happened, and those of you who have been through a cancer journey, or those of you who have been through some type of illness, or if you got discharged from your job unfairly, or whatever situation, somebody took advantage of you. I always use that because it put me in that mindset to fight. It put me in that mindset of a warrior. It put me, and that's where Warriors Talk came from. It came from me being, I didn't want to be a victim. I'm like, cancer is not about to take over me. It is not about to take over my life. So I had to, it was a mindset for me. I had to change my mind. I'm not going to say it came easy. It did not come easy for me. I questioned God, why me? I consider myself a healthy person. I consider myself, I exercise, I eat right, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I'm not just out in the world just kicking it and making all these bad choices. So, why is this happening to me? And I felt like a victim. And then, and I'm like, okay, God, if you allow this to happen, then, what are you going to get out of it? It's got to be a reason for this happening. What are you going to get out of me? Seeing me suffer, seeing me lose my hair, seeing my skin turn black, seeing me lose my fingernails, seeing me lose weight, being hospitalized, getting blood transfusions, going through breast cancer surgery, and God, what are you getting out of seeing me suffer? And I felt like a victim. I felt like, am I being punished for some things, and bad decisions that I've made in the past? Is this just God's way of, getting me back and getting my attention? That's how I felt. And let me tell you, I had to get past that because our God don't operate like that. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. I'm coming back. And I think we have a caller, and I'm excited. Hey, Melissa. We got another Melissa on here watching, too. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you, Facebook. We have a caller. And we are back. This is Lady Rochelle with Warriors Talk here on UBM Radio, your station for faith, talk, and music. And we are talking about victorious and not a victim. Before we go back into the show, this second half of the show is sponsored by Mary Kay with Gloria Dotson, and she is catering to you from head to toe. You can go to marykay.com/GDOTSON. Now, Facebook and UrbanBroadcastMedia.com. I have been awarded 2 tickets. These tickets are worth $50 now. These tickets are worth $50. So you guys that are listening today, you are getting in on a good time. So these tickets are worth $50, and it's from Forever Hope Agency, and they have an event that's taking place on April the 6th, 6:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., and it's their 4th annual fundraiser, and it's called, their theme for that night is All Aboard the Love Train, and so it's going to include dinner, they're going to have live art, they're going to have auction entertainment, and it's so elegant. And their program and their fundraiser is actually to give money for a STEM program. So it's about science, technology, art, engineering, and math. And they raise money for their STEM camp for children. So basically, the donation goes to children. Now, the lady that's, she's the vice president, her name is Tracy Kincaid. She donated 2 tickets from the Forever Hope Agency. Okay. And those tickets are worth $50. So I will be giving away those tickets when I say call in for those tickets. Call in, and what will happen is your name will be on will call. So when you show up, the address to the venue is 221 North Paulina in Chicago. And so it's a nice event. Okay, so that's my community connection corner with Forever Hope Agency, which is 2 tickets valued at $50 that I will be giving away. But we have a caller on the line that's going to be talking about being victorious and not a victim. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello.
How
How you doing, Rochelle?
I'm good. Who's this? I'm good. Who is this?
This is Henry.
Hi, Henry. Oh my God. Okay, so Henry, let me just explain to you guys who Henry is. Henry is the #1 supporter of Warriors Talk. He is our #1 supporter. I can count on Henry to share the show, like the show, and comment on the show. So the fact that he's actually taking time out to call in, like, I'm just honored. So Henry, thank you for calling in today.
No problem. Pleasure is mine.
Yeah. So what did you want to share with us today about being victorious and not a victim?
Well, in 1995, I was on my way to work, and at the time, I didn't know that I had undiagnosed high blood pressure. And I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what was wrong. And long story short, I wound up in the hospital, and my pressure was so high they had to induce me into a coma.
Oh, wow.
While laying there in the coma, hello?
Yes, I hear you.
While laying there in the coma, my mom, my grandmother, and my godmother came to pray for me. And I could hear everything going on. I just could not say anything or move. But I heard enough to where the doctors were saying they were going to drill a hole in my brain, in my head, to relieve the pressure from bleeding.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that I wasn't bleeding on my brain. My grandmother, being mischievous as she is, she took a safety pin and stuck it in my foot. And it took a little while, but I set up that Sunday morning.
Wow.
And I explained to my mom, look, get me out of here before they kill me. Because that's not what's wrong with me. Well, got out of there and went to UIC Hospital. And they could not see no bleed on my brain. They ran all kinds of tests, kept me there for 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, I felt helpless.
Wow.
Like, am I going to stay here or am I going to get out of here? And here it is, 2017, 12 years later, and thanks be to God, I'm still here.
Wow. So you used one of those words that I described the victim, helpless. You couldn't do anything. And the fact that, wow, that you actually heard them saying what they was going to do, but you couldn't do anything. You couldn't say, oh no, don't do that. That, you was a victim, a helpless victim.
Well, Lady Rochelle, prior to that, 2 years prior to that, the best man at my wedding, the week I got married, he had a stroke. A stroke and the aneurysm busted. And they drilled a hole in his head, and he didn't come out of that.
Oh my goodness.
So I knew I didn't want that done to me ever.
Wow. Sometimes, and this is just me, sometimes God will show you, he'll give you a prelude to what could happen, just to set you up so that you can make the right decisions on what to do. So you were able to see that a couple of years prior to what was happening, so that you knew, no, you're not about to do nothing to me, and you got out of there, because then they could have been planning your funeral. Oh my goodness. So you would have been a victim in that case. And that would have been something that you couldn't do anything about. Just imagine how many hundreds of thousands of people that were in your situation who didn't have a praying mother, who didn't have a praying grandmother, who could not make that decision for them, who wasn't able to have discernment to say, you know what, he all right. We know what to do.
That's true.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Henry. Thank you so much, Henry, for sharing that with me. I really appreciate you for calling in. I love me some Henry, y'all.
You're welcome, Queen Lady Rochelle. You have a great day, and I'm enjoying the show.
Thank you so much. Hello. Okay, you guys, if you want to call in again, the number is 312-719-2095. We just got done listening to Henry, who, again, he said that he was he had high blood pressure, didn't know it, and they put him in a coma, and next thing you know, they was getting ready to drill a hole in his head. He felt helpless, and if you've ever been in a situation to where you can hear everything going on around you, but you couldn't do anything about it, it's a terrible situation. And thank God that God will put people, that's why I said that support system around you. He'll put people in your life. He'll put people around you that knows exactly what to do, that knows what to say to you, that knows what to say for you, that will go to bat for you, for people who are making you feel like a victim. So Henry, thank you so much. I appreciate you for sharing that. Wow. Thank God that you're still here. Like I said, I love me some Henry. So you guys, if you want to call in and you want to share, because I know somebody was calling in while Henry was on the phone, don't know who it was, but 312-719-2095. And we were talking about somebody else. Okay, we have another caller, you guys. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, sorry, let me turn my speaker up. Hi. Michelle?
Yes, who am I speaking with?
This is Melissa. Christy.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, how are you? I was
Good.
watching you on Facebook, and so I was like, oh, she's talking to me. Okay.
Thank you for calling in. Are you going to share something with us about being victorious and not a victim?
Yes, definitely. Would love to.
All right, we would love to hear it.
Okay, so, my story is rather long and complex. It's just the short version. I come from being depressed, being suicidal. I became physically disabled in 2010, and I'm also an abusive relationship survivor. So there's just a series of things that were going on in my life, and I got to the point, like I was saying in my comment, where I was just really existing, getting up like another day, because of what was going on in my body, because of things that already happened, and I just reached that point where it was like, enough is enough. Like, I want more than just being here. I want to have a purpose. I want to be happy. So I changed from victim to Victor, to survivor to thriver, by making the small steps. And a lot of people are like, how do I start? I have to say that God definitely gave me the strength to do it. But unfortunately, I was one of those people that, we hit kind of rock bottom, and you're just so broken and you're so messed up that I did it out of desperation. I can't just lay in the bed and I'm hoped out because I'm sick, because I have health problems, because I've been abused. You blame yourself, and all these things is narrative. And if I could say one thing, I would say I used to sit up every day and say, it's not supposed to be like this.
Yes.
My life. It's not supposed to be like this. It's not supposed to be like this. And one day, it was like something hit me, and it's like, but it is like this, you know? So my biggest step forward, I think, from shifting from victim to victor to being, a survivor, was accepting the reality as mine and saying, okay, what am I going to get from this? How am I going to move forward? Yes, this is my reality, but okay, what is my future?
Yes, yes. It doesn't have to be your destiny.
Right.
I liked how you owned it in the moment, but not permanently. But you didn't like throw it in the back of your mind like, oh, it's not there, pretending that it's not there and not dealing with it, but you actually dealt with it and decided to make a change. And like you say, your steps were small steps, they were baby steps, but the fact that you actually you made a decision to make a change, that something's not right, and your gut, your instinct, something inside of you is going to tell you, and you listen to it. Wow.
Exactly. Thank you for having me on. I mean, I'm just grateful. Anytime I get an opportunity, I like to tell people that, it's not over, and that we really can rewrite our story, or not just maybe even rewrite it. Well, first we rewrite it, now I'm going to do something a little different, and that's how I teach people to kind of reinterpret, or I should say, kind of take your circumstances and then put a positive spin on it. So we don't get a chance, we're going to show what we think we are, and that's something a lot of us just don't realize. Like life is happening to me, and I'm just being tossed around. So I'm just honored to be where I am. I still have work to do. I still have healing to reach, but I'm just grateful, and I appreciate you for the show and for having me, giving me this speak.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us. I know you blessed somebody, because I was blessed by hearing it. Thank you, Melissa.
All right, thank you. Have a great evening.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Wow. I am so excited about that. That was definitely a blessing. It's not easy to share. When you're going through something like that, it's not easy just to let somebody know, yeah, I was depressed. People put labels on you. So it's not easy to do that. But I like that she knew the point to where, okay, I can't stay here. It is where I am, but it doesn't feel right. Something's not right about this. And being a victim, you have to come to that point. You have to come to a point in your life where you said, I'm not going to stay here. And you make a conscious decision to get out of there. If you got to cry out for help, whatever you have to do to get yourself some help, to get out of there, and don't stay there. So I appreciate her sharing that story with me. What I am going to do, since I had the two callers that called in. I appreciate you guys for calling in and sharing your story. So to Henry and Melissa, I'm going to split the tickets up. I'm going to split them. The tickets are worth $50 each. So I'm going to split them. And I'm hoping Melissa is here in Chicago. Let me know if you're here in Chicago, Melissa. So that you can go to this event. It is Forever Hope Agency. The lady that's the vice president, she's a breast cancer survivor, and their program is basically to help anybody really who's in need, but their concentration is on the youth. And so all the funds that they raise from that night goes towards the youth, everything. That they don't take anything out of the overhead. Their executive board, they do a fundraiser, and then the executive board makes sure that all of the funds that they raise for that night goes towards that program. So what I'm going to do, since Henry and Melissa was the ones that called in and shared information with us, I'm going to give those tickets away. So Melissa, I need you to inbox me your information. Oh, you are? Great. I need you to inbox me your information, and what I'll do is I will put your name and Henry's name on will call at this event. So I'll give you the address, I'll give you the date and everything, so you'll know when it's happening. Now these tickets are worth $50, and it's a nice event. So when I tell you, show up. If you're not going to be able to come, let me know, and then I can take the ticket and give it to someone else. But like I said, Henry, he's always listening to the show, and just the fact that he actually called in, I was really shocked, and so I'm excited. And Melissa, since I believe this is your first time listening, and if it's not, I know that you're new at listening to Warriors Talk, so I appreciate you. And so you will get a ticket, and Henry will get a ticket to go to the Forever Hope Agency fundraiser. So I appreciate you guys calling in. And don't worry, for those of you who are listening in, there will be more prizes coming up, just not today. So just continue to listen in. I wanted to go back to a point that I think it was Carol that she made about how you had to fight. Yes, Lynette, isn't it fabulous? Lynette knows, because that's how I met Lynette last year at the event, and it was an awesome event. They always have an awesome event. Carol Stewart left a comment. She said, your mind is the mental manual for your body. You have to fight mentally in everything before you can put it into physical action. And I wanted to go back to that because it does take a mindset to change your mindset. And the same thing what Melissa was saying was that, she would say to herself, something's not right, something's not right. And then reality hit her like, well, this is what's happening. But she made up in her mind that I'm going to make a change. And the same thing with Henry, when he was laying in a coma, he knew something wasn't right. Like, no, something is not right. Oh, it is your first time listening. Well, I'm excited that you had a positive experience and this is your first time listening. So, yes, thank you for tuning in, Melissa. I don't know who invited you, but whoever invited you to the show, thank you for inviting Melissa. And inbox me so that I can give you the information regarding your ticket and where to go. And so, Carol, the information that she put, like, you have to make up in your mind and fight mentally. And we all have to go through that when you're going through any type of battle. You have to make up in your mind, do I want to fight, first of all? Because we know fighting is exhausting. When you are planning on fighting, it's exhausting. So you have to make sure, number one, you make up in your mind that you're going to fight. Two, you have to put on the whole armor of God. You have to use God's word to fight. You have to use his word to fight the enemy. Melissa say, yes, it's my first time listening, so thank you. Hey, Perry, thank you for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, like, share the video, invite others in on the video. We're talking about victorious and not a victim. And we talked to two individuals who felt like they were victims, but they were able to move from victims to being victorious. And I encourage you, if you feel like you're in a victim state in your life, to reach out to someone that you trust and tell them how you're feeling. Make a conscious effort every single day. Do like Melissa did. Look yourself in the mirror and say, something's not right. Keep telling yourself that until something clicks inside of your head and say, you know what? I'm going to fight my way out of this. She says, yes, it is. You got to know why you're fighting. Oh, that's important. You do have to know why you're fighting. A lot of people have their own individual battles that they're going through, and I encourage you to search yourself out, take inventory of yourself. And once you pinpoint what those defects are, once you pinpoint what the flaws are, and you highlight them, then they no longer have power over you. But as long as you keep them down, buried down up inside of you, and you keep replaying that same old thing over and over in your head, then it has power over you. The key is to take the power back so that you can take back your life. So I thank you guys for tuning in to Warriors Talk. Melissa, don't forget to inbox me, and I'll send you the information about the ticket. Henry, do the same. I appreciate your phone calls. Thank you guys for tuning in. I encourage you all to move from being a victim to being victorious. Warriors, remember to keep thriving while surviving.
Father God, we come before you.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. I have to sign out. Melissa, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Henry, thank you so much. All of you guys for tuning in. Carol, Lynette, all of you guys that left comments, thank you so much. Hey, Brenda. Hey, you guys. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Melissa B. Okay, you guys, so I have to go. I'll be back next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time with another hot topic. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in.